Thank you. Leon Lilly.
I get a little tired of, at times hearing people kind of bash people that work in the public sector. And when I first ran for the North St. Paul City Council, I thought, well, I'm going to find all this waste. I'm going to find a lot of people sitting around doing nothing. You know what I found out? I found people that show up every day for work and do a good job. And I spent a lot of time with my kids in the schools. And we have teachers and cooks and counselors that are doing a darn good job for our kids in our community. And I'm surprised how many workers. I find the same thing at the state. Yes, we're going to have to do some reforms, but we have some very quality workers in the public sector.
Thank you. Chuck Uygur, follow-up?
No further rebuttal.
Thank you. Mark Jenkins, some follow-up?
I'll just actually tag on to what Representative Lilly said. Whenever we talk about reforms in education and stuff, I think we need to be clear that when we talk about reforms in education, it doesn't mean that the employees are bad. It doesn't mean that our teachers are terrible. Obviously, as with any jobs, any careers, there's a spectrum of qualifications in our teachers and administrators. But I don't think it's the teachers that are the problem. I think it's the system, and we need to look at that. But in doing so, still support your teachers.
Thank you. And Joseph Polinchek, follow-up?
No follow-up.
So with our next question, we're going to start with Leon Lilly, and we're going to go the other direction. We're going to flip around. Okay, so it will be Leon Lilly, Nathan Hansen, and so on. We're going to just turn the other way. And so all this talk about money is kind of depressing. So let's just get something a little upbeat to talk about. And why don't you tell us two great things about your district?
Two great things.
Two great things.
Well, one of the things that I'm particularly excited about, and I think is a clear value that a lot of people don't know that we have in this district, is the Gateway Trail. Right outside this door is a trail. It's one of the top trails in the state of Minnesota, and has an amazing amount of use. It's one of the busiest trails. There's trails that, in the Minneapolis system that are busier, but I think it's a vital asset. It's a state asset. It goes right through this community, and people can hop on it, and there's an amazing amount of people that take the trail to work and use it for exercise, and I just think it's a kind of a hidden treasure. The other thing I'd probably mention is I think our school district. I've been really proud of the work that they've done with our kids. It's our community is changing, and it's not, and I don't just mean racially, which although that's happening as well, but economically our community is changing, and the challenges are real. And every day I think they're doing a good job. Our schools are not failing in this district, and they're fighting the fight. It's when kids come to school, we want them to achieve, and it sounds like kind of a hokey thing, but our teachers in our local school district are up to the task and doing a good job.
Thank you. So Nathan Hansen, two great things about House District 55A.
Well, I really like this side of the Twin Cities. I really like this area. I actually grew up on the west side of the cities and have lived here on and off for the past 14 years with the exception of law school. And I like this area because it's like an established area with real people, and the people are great, and it's safe, and it's got a pretty stable housing supply, and it's centrally located, and I think it's pretty vibrant. And North St. Paul's great because it's like one of the only towns in the Twin Cities that has a real downtown that looks like a real downtown, like another small town in Minnesota, and that's where my office is, and that's why one of the reasons why my office was there. Because I just like it, and I like the people, and I guess those are some things I like about my district.
Thank you. Joseph Polinchek.
Well, I agree with Mr. Lilly that the education system in North St. Paul, Maplewood, Oakdale school systems is just wonderful. Like I said, my grandson's doing things that we didn't do till we were beyond him for 2 years. But one of the great things about our area is we've got the Maplewood Mall up here to the north a little ways, and we've got multi stores you can shop at. We've got multi-entertainment centers. We've got the Aldrich Arena up here where a lot of the kids play hockey. North St. Paul, the high school's got the big indoor I can't remember what it's called, but the indoor hockey rink up there, if you like
Polar
hockey.
Arena.
Polar Arena, that's what it is. So we've got many things you can do around here, and you can go out like to North St. Paul, where it's a quaint little town, do what you want to do out there. We're not that far from St. Paul. There's a lot going on in St. Paul. So we're just kind of centrally located between Stillwater, St. Paul, North St. Paul, and Roseville, and there's just a lot to do.
Thank you. Mark Jenkins.
Thank you. I'm a sort of cheat because I actually did this when we were doing what we call a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, with the Business and Economic Development Commission, and we talked about this exactly. The first one, though, I'll use as an opportunity to differentiate myself. A lot of people up here are talking about lifelong residents. I'm not. I'll tell you, I've lived here for 6 years. And the reason I do is one of the very first great things about this district. We have great neighborhoods. And I live in probably one of the best neighborhoods in the district. And yes, I'm absolutely biased about that. But I live in the South Leg. And it was that neighborhood that drew me to this district. In door knocking in this campaign, I have seen many other neighborhoods where you've got a sense of community within that 4 or 5 block area that is unique from the next 4 or 5 block area. But it's those neighborhoods that we have around here that are fantastic. And part of it, and this is my second great thing, is the fact that this district, both, including North St. Paul, Oakdale, and Maplewood, also has a tremendous variety, from economic classes of people to ethnic communities. You've got a wide variety in this area, and it is a pleasure to be able to enjoy that variety. Speaking to businesses too, we've got everything from small mom and pop retail shops where I love to go. Buy local as much as you can. The small businesses like some of us have, appreciate the local support. All the way up to Fortune 500 companies that, help drive the economy and keep us able to support that variety. So, this district is a fantastic district to live in. And if you haven't had the opportunity to get outside of your neighborhood or outside of your comfort area, you're going to find out there's tremendous variety and tremendous opportunities throughout this district. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chuck Uyghur.
Like Leon, I've lived here all my life, as had our parents. So we get it. We understand that this is a beautiful place to live, to work, to worship, to recreate. It's our home. It's our roots. We're very proud of it. And that's why we're so motivated to give back in public service. The two areas that shine so brightly to me would be our schools, our public and our private. And all that they do, the loyalty, the product that they produce. And I encourage anyone in the audience viewing, visit your local school, or at least check the website out if you have that ability to learn about what they're doing. They're preparing our future, maybe your relatives, and there's so many great stories, so many challenges, but the school's number one. And just the whole spirit of volunteerism, the sense of pride that people have in their neighborhoods and the community, rising to meet challenges, whether it be in times of crisis or whatever the case may be. But this area responds, and it's that sense of volunteerism.
Thank you. So the next question, we will start with Nathan Hansen. No rebuttal on that, because of course we all agree that all those things are awesome. Would you support a bonding bill this session if elected? Why or why not? And again, we'll start with Nathan Hansen.
A bonding bill with our own state bank. Right now, we pay origination fees and interest to other banks. We don't have to. We should be able to do our own bonding. If we can get a state bank, which we should be able to do, just like North Dakota has had one for 90 years, I'll support a bonding bill. If it doesn't include a state bank where we're not paying interest to other people, to out of state, to New York or London or wherever it's going, I don't support it. Our own state bank, our interest comes to us, our state, our wealth kept here. And under those circumstances, I will support a bonding bill for all kinds of projects that we obviously need in this state. But I'm tired of our wealth being sucked away by these people in other states and by bankers and by people that go to our Congress and get $23 trillion bailouts. And Betty McCollum voted for that $33 billion in bonuses to Merrill Lynch executives too, and so did 8 other people, and there's only one congressperson who didn't. So you keep that in mind on the federal level too when you vote next time about who voted your interest and who didn't and who had the courage. And I will support a bonding bill, but only when we get our state bank.
Thank you. Joseph Polincheck.
It all depends what they were going to buy with it. Bonding bills get kind of hairy. They get kind of strange because you can put up a bonding bill to build something or do something with it, and next thing you know, they're taking little pieces of it for a duck bridge up in Duluth, so ducks don't got to get their feet wet when they're going across the lake. It all depends on what they're going to use it for, and if it's strictly used for what they say it's going to use for.
Thank you. Mark Jenkins.
Absolutely, I'd support it. The question isn't if, but the question is what would we spend it on? The bonding bill is basically the state's credit card. And just like our own credit cards, there are times we need to use that to pay for stuff. And I support bonding for infrastructure where the needs are. The concern I have, though, is all too often your legislators will tell you that don't worry about bonding because we don't pay for that for 20 or 30 years. Well, unfortunately, that's what gets a lot of people in trouble with their credit cards, too. They think they're not going to pay for it for 20 or 30 years, but in the interim, that $100 monthly payment just went up to a $150 monthly payment or a $175 monthly payment. So to pretend that bonding is a way to postpone payment is a little false. You want to also look at what is your debt rating, what is your debt capacity, and what's that impact going to have on your spending. Yeah, $50 additional on a credit card might not be a lot for some people, but we can't think, I challenge most people up here to think of a more difficult economic time. Leon's talked about it, that this is probably one of the most difficult economic times for the state. Is it nitpicky to look at, what our debt payments are and what our debt capacity is? Yeah, but this is when we've got to be nitpicky. So I will support it for things that are going to be necessary, things we would pay for eventually, but be very careful of what it does to our debt capacity and our ongoing debt payments.
Thank you. Chuck Uyghur.
Yes, I support a bonding bill, and we did pass one at least a couple of times. It was vetoed. There will be a bonding bill introduced early in the session, and we hope to get those items that were vetoed last time put into law. One being the East Metro Firefighter Training Facility. 22 communities. Been talking to a number of the firefighters and the chiefs. This is going to save money. It's ready. Let's get that done. We also are looking at the potential proposal. I don't know if we can get it in the upcoming session or not, but one for the Tubman Alliance and working with the St. Paul Monastery for a domestic abuse shelter, as well as a number of facility programs that will assist in their mission with the Benedictine order. And this is something that they have raised most of the money. Bottom line, we have an excellent credit rating, and of course we live within our means when we issue these bonds, and that is a part of the discussion when we ultimately get it passed. So there is need. We will have a bonding bill, and I will support it.
Thank you. And Leon Lilly.
Yes, I will support a bonding bill. I have in the past. I intend to this year. It's an amazing process, and these bills, there's projects all over the state. I was just up in Crookston, and there's and then East Grand Forks. It's amazing the projects that we've done in the last couple of years to save that community for flooding and whatnot. And we just had essentially a special session, which was bonding, to help the folks that have endured the crisis with the recent floodings. I'm kind of proud of the, just a variety of things. I mean, you talk about the ducks, but there's, we passed and we bonded through bonding. We were going to have one of the new state parks in the state of Minnesota up in Vermillion, And, I think it adds to the value of why